No matter how much Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot try and downplay the pick of Michael Penix, you heard Fontenot say, ideally, he doesn't play for 4 or 5 years. Raheem Morris came out and said Kirk Cousins doesn't have to be looking over his shoulder. Well, that quarterback controversy could be on the immediate horizon for the Atlanta Falcons. Dan Patrick has a league source that basically said Michael Penix is going to be taking first-team reps throughout OTAs, pretty much inferring that Kirk Cousins won't be fully healed from his Achilles surgery and rehab by that point. And then from that point, you're thrown against no pass rush. Everybody's kind of just, it's that pro day vibe where like a guy like Michael Penix, where he doesn't have to necessarily read defenses and he can just sit back and spin it, is going to impress a lot of his teammates. And that's kind of where the controversy is going to begin, where you got a guy like Chris Lindstrom, Jesse Bates, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Kirk Cousins doesn't have cachet within the organization. Both of these guys are coming in the same offseason. They go, the rookie can absolutely spin it. What are we doing with Kirk Cousins?
And he's the future, and everyone knows he's the future, and everyone's going to be counting down the days if they start to feel like this is even close. I mean, if it's even close to where they think they can have a chance with Michael Penix, all the team is going to want Michael Penix. The fans are going to want Michael Penix, and you're not going to have much of a choice but to stick with Kirk Cousins, which could create a rift in the locker room. And it's a hell of a situation for Raheem Morris to willingly put himself in, because you just got out of quarterback controversy by signing Kirk Cousins, and then you go right back into an even bigger one because you have two guys that you truly believe in, and this team does have aspirations of winning with both guys. So, yes, Penix is going to be out there spinning it looking like a god because that's what he's the best at. Right. That's probably what he's the best at in this entire class outside of maybe Caleb Williams, but I think you can make an argument he's even better in that regard than Caleb Williams. So he's going to be looking ultra impressive, and Kirk Cousins is going to be on the sideline. And Kirk Cousins can be Daddy Cousins, Coach Cousins, whatever you want to call him. But while he's not playing out there and the other guy's impressing, everyone's going to be looking. And the cachet part is so true. He doesn't have cachet with the city, the organization, even the coaches that signed him. He doesn't even have cachet. There's no cachet with him. No one really knows what Kirk Cousins is about right now, just 6 weeks after signing him. And Michael Penix could go out there and wow him, be the first team guy. And automatically, I think the key here is keeping those guys. Jesse Bates said some great things about Kirk, said some great things about Penix, said some great things about Raheem and Terry. It's going to take the leaders in the locker room. Raheem Morris needs to be hand in hand with guys like Jesse Bates and Chris Lindstrom and them, because they all need to be preaching the same message. And it can't just be coming from the head coach. It has to be coming from the entire coaching staff, the leaders on the team. But this is a tough situation, treacherous waters, especially for a coach that hasn't been a head coach in quite some time. But they brought the situation upon themselves.
Yeah. How the Falcons, which includes Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot, Arthur Blank, like you mentioned, the captains, Jesse Bates, Chris Lindstrom, how these guys navigate this, dynamic is going to be very, very interesting. There's very little room for diversion of the path. Like if you mess up just even a little bit, everything can go askew. So it's going to be very interesting. And then we're not going to have to wait long if Dan Patrick's source is correct that Michael Penix is going to be taking first team reps out there, spinning it and Flowery Branch. They let the fans in. There's going to be oohs and ahs because what Michael Penix can absolutely do is throw against the air. That is where he's at his best.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt that this was always going to happen because of the Kirk Cousins injury and because Michael Penix is so good at tossing the rock and spinning the rock. But that wraps up our show for this evening. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back with you on Thursday.